Every financial advisor in America is going to tell you the same thing: save more, invest early, leverage the power of compound interest, and build wealth. None of them will tell you what happens to that plan the moment your car breaks down, or your hours get cut, or the furnace dies in January. And here's what happens: you rate it every single time, and then you start over. Not because you lack discipline, because you build on poison ground. In those rooms, sitting across from Fortune 500 executives and private business owners, I noticed something specific about how they talked about risk. The corporate executive thought about risk in terms of what the organization could absorb, how much exposure the balance sheet could handle, whether the committee or the board would approve the exposure. The private owner thought about it differently. They thought about what their family could survive, not the business, the family. Same risk, completely different frame. One was protecting a position, the other was protecting a generation. And that frame, protecting a generation, is exactly what stage one of Saw Pow is built around. Because you can't build a generation on a foundation that cracks the first time life applies pressure. Because you cannot build a generation on a foundation that cracks the first time life applies pressure. And here is the truth about why most people never cross the first financial threshold. It is not income, it is not discipline, it is not even knowledge, it is sequence. They build before they secure, they invest before they protect, they leverage the power of compound interest before they have removed the friction that will drain it every single time. No seed survives poisoned ground. Thomas Stanley spent 30 years studying wealthy Americans. Not the ones on television, not the flashy ones, the ones next door, the quiet ones. And what he found was consistent across every case. The households that build wealth were not the highest earners. They were the most insulated from financial shocks, the ones who had removed the friction before they started building. The data published by Vanguard in March 2026 shows that 401k hardship withdrawals are at a record high. More and more Americans than ever are raiding their retirement accounts, the ones they spent years building to cover emergencies that a properly funded cushion would have observed at zero cost. The emergency fund is not a boring financial tip. It is the difference between building and starting over. And there is a sequence inside stage one. The sequence matters as much as the components. Stage one of SOPOW is called Secure the Soil. Wealth range between $0 to $10,000 or more depending on where you are. Three components in this exact sequence. Component one: build a 9 to 12 month emergency fund. Liquid, accessible, not invested. Not in a retirement account, in a high yield savings account you can access within 48 hours without a penalty. 9 to 12 months of your actual monthly expenses. What it costs you to live, not what you earn. Why 9 to 12 months? Because the average job search after an involuntary layoff takes around 9 to 12 months. And that means one bad event does not destroy a year of progress. Component 2: eliminate every debt above 8% interest. Why 8%? Because the rough historical return of a diversified investment portfolio over time is approximately 8%. Any debt above that rate is costing you more than the market is likely to give you back. Any debt above that rate is costing you more than the market is likely giving you back. You cannot build wealth by investing at 8% while paying a debt of 22%. High interest debt is not just a financial problem, it's a psychological one. Every month it exists, it is pulling your attention backward. Stage one removes it completely. Component 3: basic protection. Life insurance if you have dependents, health insurance if you're not covered, renters or homeowners coverage. This is not an insurance conversation. We go deeper on protection vehicles at stage 3 and stage 4. This is the floor, the minimum that keeps One event from erasing everything you have built. 9 to 12 months liquid, zero debt above 8%, basic protection in place. That is stage one. That is the soil. The private owner did not have a faster path to wealth because they earned more. They had a faster path because they never had to start over. The soil was secure before the first seed went in. I want to be direct about something. Stage one is not glamorous content. Nobody makes a viral video about opening a savings account. The algorithm does not reward emergency funds. But every family I have studied that is 3 or 4 generations deep in wealth, without exception, secured the soil first. Every time, in every cultural context, in every income bracket, without exception. This series about is this series is about giving you the sequence, not the hype. The sequence. Everything here is education. The framework, the order of operations, what you do with it. The specific accounts, the specific vehicles is your decision to make with full understanding. Not confusion, not pressure. Take the Stage Finder quiz if you haven't taken already. Link will be shared. If stage one is your stage right now, it will confirm that and tell you your specific next focus. Here is your one small seed for this week. Open a separate savings account today, not your regular account, a separate one. Label it emergency fund. Transfer whatever you can, even if it is $20. The amount is not the point this week. The structure is, because the moment that account exists with that label, your brain starts treating it differently. And that is how stage one begins. One seed, one account this week. Episode 3 is where the full map comes out. 7 stages, the whole sequence on one visual. Plant the seed today that shades you or someone you love tomorrow. See you in episode 3.